There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go, show recaps prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from EVP Show. We are live for your NXT recap. Hope you guys had a good Tuesday. This is the NXT recap live on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. So, NXT hasn't lost a beat. Tonight's show was at least 7 out of 10 for sure, maybe at 7.5 or an 8. Even after all the call-ups, NXT just staying. For me, it's the most consistent show that WWE has right now. So, definitely a good show. They did really well with the storyline. So, the storyline playing out. Definitely a good show tonight. So, a lot of big matches next week. NXT seems to deliver on the title matches and the getting up a nice card out every single week. So, and they had some good matches on the show tonight. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead. This is a super busy week. Obviously, we have the Saturday Night Main Event prediction show tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in for that. We'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be a bunch of us on here for that. But they changed the Total Rico Becky match to a title match. So maybe that main event. I don't know. I think Benson probably are, but we'll see. Looking forward to tomorrow having everybody on. 5-match card. It's going to probably good to see. I don't know, my YouTube really been messing up lately, so my views really were down yesterday for Raw. Appreciate that, Bobby. Good to see. Let's go ahead, go over the Bobby. If you don't mind, can you retweet it on Twitter? I haven't had a chance to go put it on X and I was live, but we'll go ahead and get started. This is your NXT recap live here on the EVP Show. Like I said, NXT was top notch tonight. So, definitely looking forward to next week. Some really big matches next week. The Women's Championship on the line next week. Appreciate that, Bobby. And then they're setting up Rand and Kendall. Obviously, Lowe's got to defend against Izzy next week. So, and then they're starting a speed tournament. Obviously, they already started the Tatum Paxton and Zarya, which I think that's probably not going to happen until PLE, but we'll see. A lot of stuff, a lot of storylines progress. NXT does a really good job of that. They don't do a lot of promos, so it's a lot of wrestling. So it's good to see. So NXT is live from the Capitol Wrestling Center, the Performance Center, Florida. Going to see the NXT Women's North American Champion Tatum Paxton. Appreciate that, Bobby. I was gonna post it, but forgot. We're gonna see the WWE NXT Women's North American Champion Tatum Paxton defending the title against Lizzie Rain. Plus WWE NXT North American Champion Miles Bourne and WWE NXT Champion Tony D'Angelo will face Mason Rook and Cam Hendricks in a tag team match. Really good, and they have some elevation of that story later on in the night. So, also we're going to see the WWE NXT Tag Team Championship, the Vanity Project, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes versus Dark State, Saquon Sugar and Deion Lennox. Obviously, the team Mika Lockwood, Jackson Drake out there was down for that match. We're going to get Tate Wilder going 1-on-1 versus Keanu Carver. And Tristan Angels makes his in-ring debut. So the show opens up with Big Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T welcoming us as we see the arrival of Dark State, the Vanity Project, Mika Lockwood, Lizzie Rain, and Tatum Paxton. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with the first match of the night, which is a really big match. They seem to just put everybody in the right spots. I feel like they did a really good job with that tonight. Miles Warren makes his way down to the ring, the men's NXT North American champion, followed by the WWE men's NXT champion, Tony D'Angelo. As they're going to be going, Mason Rook is really over with the, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, Bobby, as well. Mason Rupp is really over. I mean, I'm talking about really over with the fans. Part of my travels all around tonight. What man? Yeah, Cam Henderson. 100%. Mason Rupp looks really good too. Really good. 100%. I'm gonna post it in the chat. Probably see if we can get some people in here. All right, I retweeted it. So, Tavion Heights. Yeah, looks like that's where they're going. They're gonna go with Tavion and Osborne makes the most sense. I feel like, or we could get, we could get Mason Rook, which I think he's going to be a big player for Tony D's title. I don't think Mason Rook is going to go after Miles Warren. I think Cam Hendricks is has a big champ. Sorry for you. All right. Yeah, I think Tavion Heights will. Whether it looks like that's where they're going with Miles Warren, but I do think that Cam Hendricks is going to end up facing it as well. Looks like. Let's see. All right, so we're going to get Miles Warren and Tony D going in a tag team match against Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook to kick off the show. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get to the action. The match starts off with Warren, Cam Hendricks starting off the match. They look up. Cam then backs Miles to the corner and delivers a knee. It's a clothesline. Miles to the corner, but he punches to an elbow. Cam then sends Miles to. Cam then hits a power slam for a count of 2. Cam then kicks Miles in the back. Miles then hits a punch. Cam delivers a forearm. Cam then hits a knee to the midsection. He goes for a suplex, but Miles lands on his feet. Miles then hits a drop kick. Miles then delivers a power slam for only a count of 2. Tony then tags in. He takes Cam down with a hip block and a short arm clothesline. Mason Rook tagged in and he delivered a forearm. Tony D hits a forearm. They begin to exchange punches back and forth. Tony delivers some sort of Superman looking punch. Mason hits a chop to Tony D. Mason then gets Tony on his shoulders. Tony escapes and he goes for a shoulder tackle, but Mason does not move. Mason hits an Irish whip and a clothesline, followed by a back senton for a near fall. Now, Mason Rook is super talented, very athletic as well. I mean, for a bigger guy, he's definitely got it. So, and then he's super over with the fans. I'm sure they hear that. So, somebody moving chairs around here. So Mason then misses a splash, but Tony D delivers several clotheslines to the corner. Mason then blocks a suplex attempt. Mason gets Tony on his shoulder. Tony then gets to his feet. He tries to German suplex, but Mason blocks it. Miles and tags them. They hit a double belly to back suplex on Mason Rook. They then sent Cam Hendricks over the top rope and to the floor. Cam then retakes control. Miles Morgan hits a series right. Hard back with the Irish whip to Cam. Tony then enters the fray and delivers a side elbow. Cam then hits a splash on Tony D into the corner before tagging in Mason. Mason comes in and hits a big body slam for Tony into the mat for a count of 2. Mason then tries to chop down Tony, but Tony did not sell that. Put in the notes. Mason then hits a double suplex. Cam then chops Miles down behind the referee's back. Miles then runs into a big boot. Mason then enters the match, runs into a big boot. He then hits Miles. He turns around and hits Miles Morgan with a sit-down powerbomb for a count of 2. Miles then tries to fight back. He tags Tony. Tony then hits Mason with a spear. He follows it up with a German suplex and a spine buster to Cam. Tony then hits Cam. Spear. But Mason Rook breaks up the pinfall. All 4 men are now in the ring. Tony sends Mason over the top rope. White splits to the outside. Mason sends Tony into the steel steps outside. Miles then flies to the air, wiping out Mason with a move over the top rope. Obviously, Tavion Heights comes out. See that? Obviously, he ends up running into the back leg of Miles Bourne. Then on accident, obviously, he was just trying to come out there and help, but he got shoved into the back of Miles Bourne. Mason sends Miles into the corner and hits the big slam. Then Cam Hendricks comes over and ends up getting the pinfall on Miles Bourne after Mason Rook hit the 2 moves in the corner. So a lot of that was due to Mason Rook, but Cam Hendricks came in and got the pin. Obviously, he started taunting the fans and all that after the big win. Mason and Miles, Mason was not happy with Cam Hendricks taking the credit for that. So obviously, we'll see that later on. So then we head to the back over to Dark State and they talk about who they have beaten, how they can become 3-time WWE NXT champion, tag team champion. Color James, this is the first time in months they were arguing, Brandon Saquon Sugar to Dion Lennox. Dion said they're on the same page, and he asked what Cutler mean if they lose tonight. So obviously we saw that at the end. Saquon then interrupts and he said they are going to do what they can do. So interesting segment. If you look at it, obviously watching the promo back, it looks like Saquon is the one that's with Cutler and Osar. We saw that to be different at the end of NXT TV tonight. So good promo, like I said, kind of foreshadowing. The NXT doesn't really try to hide much on that forefront, but they definitely do a good job telling the story with it. So, so then we get after coming off her big win against Kendall Gray, Kalani Jordan's music hits. She is really, really popular too. I saw a poll where she's like one of the top, definitely one of the top NXT on like, I guess like either views or something to do with maybe the merch or something. I don't know. But she's definitely popular. So Kalani Jordan, music hits, she makes her way down to the ring. Kalani asks, "What does a woman have to do?" Klein says she walked through the doors and won a title within 9 months being on NXT. Klein says last week she beat Kendall Gray, someone everyone thinks here should already be in the Hall of Fame. Klein is great. What's wrong with my comment? There it is. She's throwing shots at Kendall Gray. Someone you think should be in the Hall of Fame. Klein says she is better than all other women that they called up to Raw and SmackDown. She says she's better than Fatal Influence, she's better than Blake Monroe, she's better than Sol Ruka, and she killed the Surfer sign. Klein was killing in the promo every night. Klein says she's better than any woman sitting in the back right now. Well, Klein says she is the only person to make the women's NXT champion. All the bodies tap out. Klein says that should have put her at the front of the title line. Klein says she never got an opportunity at the women's NXT championship. Klein says instead she got to watch all these women who aren't half as athletic and talented as her, pelling left and right. Klein says they talk about potential with her, but that is for the girls that are still trying to figure it out, not her. Klein had an excellent promo. People so loud for her. Klein says she has already done it. Klein says it's her time to get a shot at the women's NXT championship. Klein says people are getting way too comfortable looking at her. Klein says she is the most talented in the locker room. Out comes Izzy Dane. Out, she asks if Klein is trying to jump the line. Izzy says she pinned Lola and kicked her in the head. Izzy says if anyone's going to get a shot at the title, it is her. That is official for next week. All the Bison will be defending the Women's NXT Championship against Izzy Dane. Izzy then tells Klein to get back in the line. Out comes the Women's NXT Champion, Lola White. Makes her way out. She tells both of them to stop wasting everyone's time. Lola said, "You have wins. She won when it mattered. That is why she is the champion." Lola tells Klein she talks about what she wants. Lola said she wants to start with Izzy. Lola said, "You hit her in the back of the head. You thought you could get away with it." Lola says she will give Izzy her 15 seconds of fame next week. A title match. She's going to give her 15 seconds of fame in a title match next week. Lola says Kalani is going to be next once she gets on with Izzy. Out comes future women, one of the future NXT Women's Champions, which is going to happen before this year for sure. Kendall Gray makes her way out. She tells Laura Oz is still on the title. Kalani then says she already beat Kendall and she knows what she's going to say. Kendall says Kalani won't get close to the title. Out from behind, Sinclair comes from behind and hits Kalani Gordon with the crutch. All the lights to take care of Izzy and both women go to the floor as Kendall Gray, Ren Sinclair, and the NXT Women's Champion Lola White stand tall. Lola got both belts out there. She is one half of the AAA Tag Team Champions as well. So we head to the back where Dorian Bentley talks about how close Shawn, and obviously next week we're going to get Ren Sinclair. It sounded like she was going to be defending the speed. I didn't hear that the NXT Speed Championship was going to be on the line, but definitely Ren Sinclair are going to be in the match next week as well. So Dorian backstage talking with Shawn Legacy. How close Shawn was last week. Shawn blamed Tate Wilder for what happened. Shawn said Dorian will be facing him next week in the Speed Tournament. Start of the Speed Tournament. That is official. Shawn Legacy will go one with Dorian Van Dude next week. And then we see Romeo Moreno and Noam Dar. Then walking the back. Noam tells Romeo Romeo will have a better result than him. Noam then says Romeo has a lot of catching up. asked no one to be in his corner against Tristan Angel, but no one agrees to be out there. So then we go to the women's filmed in the women's locker room. Obviously, they are watching what happened on Boston Open Thursday with Jada Parker and Natty. Joseph mentioned the incident involving Natty and Jada Parker. And the ladies are in the back watching on TV. Jada says she is honored to hear Natty talking about her. Then Layla Diggs steps up and says Jada loves to run her mouth. Jada says she does it to someone's face while Natty does it behind a microphone. Layla says she respects Natty for what she has done. Layla says she did not want to be like Jada since she complained after losing twice. Jada challenged Layla to a match next week, so that is official for next week as well. A lot of matches official for next week. Layla Diggs goes along with Jada Parker. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a really good match. So we go to the next match of the night. Romeo Moreno is waiting in the ring. He's going to be going one-on-one with the person making his NXT debut in the ring, Tristan Angel. So we're getting a one-on-one with Tristan Angel and Romeo Moreno. Match starts off with both men locking up. Tristan sits in a wrist lock and a Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Tristan hits a leg sweep and Romeo sits in a waist lock and does some takedowns. Tristan then gets to the ropes and he hits an elbow and a shoulder tackle to Romeo. Romeo then slaps Tristan. Romeo then sends Tristan to the ropes and he trips Tristan up. Romeo then hits a drop kick. Romeo then hits a chop to the corner. Tristan hits a whip. Romeo hits an elbow. Tristan then puts Romeo in the ropes. He hits a forearm and a double stomp into the ropes. Tristan Angel then hits a suplex for a count of 2. Tristan then kicks Romeo and he hits several forearms while Shiloh Hill is walking through the bleachers with a sign saying that he's Mr. NXT. Tristan Angel looked good tonight. Tristan then kicks Romeo and he hits Shiloh comes walking up with the Mr. NXT sign with some crazy looking hat on. Shiloh is super over too. Tristan gets distracted. Romeo hip tosses Tristan over the top rope to the floor. Romeo hits a double jump cross body. Romeo is down on the floor. Tristan sends him back into the ring. Tristan delivers several forearms. Tristan then tries to send Romeo to the turnbuckle, but Romeo blocks it. Tristan hits a kick and he sends Romeo into the turnbuckles. Tristan then delivers a hard Irish whip. Then hits a forearm to the back. Tristan hits a belly to back suplex for a count of 2. Tristan then sits in a surfboard. Romeo powers back with several elbows and hits Tristan with a forearm. Tristan powers back with another forearm himself and hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Romeo for a count of 2. Tristan then goes for another pinfall but only gets 2. Tristan delivers several knees to the back followed by a forearm. Tristan hits a knee to the midsection. But Romeo powers back with a counter from roll up. Only gets 2, but Romeo sends in a side headlock. Tristan hits a back elbow. Tristan hits a forearm and he goes for ability back suplex. Romeo beat. Tristan then sends in a rolling single leg crab. Romeo then rolls through. He hits a suplex. Romeo then hits several forearms. Tristan hits a double thrust to the ropes. Romeo then hits a kick and a running clothesline. Romeo then hits another clothesline and a shoulder into the corner. Romeo then hits a kick in the corner and a springboard drop kick for a count of 2. Tristan Angel then hits the insecurity to knock Romeo off the turnbuckle and he follows up with a code breaker for a count of 2. Tristan then misses a splash, but he kicked Romeo. Romeo then hits a headbutt to send Tristan to the mat, and Romeo hits a double stomp off the turnbuckle for a count of 2. Tristan rolls to the floor. Romeo goes to the apron, and Tristan blocks a kick. Drops Romeo on the apron. Tristan hits a knee to the back of the neck for the 1, 2, 3. Tristan Angel defeated Romeo Moreno in his NXT debut. After the match, Tristan says he He told Charlotte he hoped he enjoyed the view from the crowd. Obviously, Charlotte Hill said he was starting a petition to be Mr. NXT. Tristan then said that is where you belong. What he said with the crowd, the trash in the crowd. Charlotte then says Tristan said he could never outclass him, but look at him now. Charlotte says he has started his campaign to crown himself Mr. NXT. Charlotte says Tristan does not appreciate the photo he used of him. Tristan says none of your opinions or value. Tristan tells Charlotte it is impossible to understand real beauty. Tristan says Charlotte will pay dearly that he ruined his perfect in-ring debut. And Charlotte starts doing that creepy laugh that he does. So we're definitely headed for Tristan Charlotte Hill feud for sure. So we then see the NXT Women's Champion Lullaby stop in and chat with Tatum Paxley before she has her title defense tonight. She asked, how does she deal with Izzy Dane for so long? She said she can't wait to knock her out next week. Tatum Paxley said she can't wait either. She can't wait to watch. Then Miles Warner and Tony D'Angelo come up. Obviously, they're getting all four of the women's and the men's NXT champion, and the women's and the men's NXT North American champion all together right there. Miles Warner says he didn't want to take the fights out there. Tony D told Miles to deal with it. So I think we're definitely headed for that. Tavion and Miles Warner. Tony then says the target is getting bigger. Lola agreed, said she's not dropping the title. Miles said the same, so did Tony D. Tatum then says she has to go out right now to defend the title. And then Tony D turns around and is the newest member of the NXT roster. We saw him last week. Evil, which is Scott's husband. Obviously, you guys saw it all over X. They call him Naraku. Last, he said Evil will strike when you least expect it to Tony D. There's nothing even great. If WWE is good, they're just too wacky to watch. There's no match finish. You can see mistake WWE made by WCW. Pushing talent. NXT is really good right now. So Naraku tells Tony D that he's going to strike when you least expect it. So they're definitely setting up that Tony D Evil match. We then see Shawn Spears telling Nico Vance they have a tag match against OTM next week. That is official. OTM versus Shawn Spears and Nico Vance from the Cullen next week. Spears and says OTM are vulnerable. Nico then brings that up that Izzy has her championship, women's NXT championship match next week. Izzy shows up holding her jaw, complaining about what Lola Vice did. Izzy then is told about the tag match. She complains that she has her title match next week. Shawn Spears then says they will get back on top with Izzy winning the title and their tag team victory next week. Izzy then says she wants to know what the deal is after Shawn Spears walks away. So a lot of dissension definitely in the calling. So you're seeing the end of the guys for sure. So we go to the next match of the night. It is for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And both of these ladies are super over. NXT is good, not WWE. Evolve too boring. I like Evolve too. But NXT is definitely the best show right now. Main roster. So Lizzie Rain makes her way down to the ring. Obviously, she's only had a couple of matches on NXT, but she's getting a big match tonight against the NXT Women's North American Champion, Tatum Paxley. So the match starts off with both women locking up. Tatum delivers an arm drag. They then lock up again. Tatum sits in a wrist lock. Right, Lizzie Rain. I don't know about that. I doubt it. I don't think so. Lizzie Rain hits a waistlock takedown. Lizzie then sends her a side headlock. She gets a takedown. Tatum Paxley fires back with a side headlock of her own. Lizzie Rain sends her a double wrist lock. She rolls through and applies an arm bar. Lizzie Rain sends her a wrist lock. Tatum then hits a backdrop. She transitions into a wrist lock. Tatum then sends Lizzie Rain back to the mat where Lizzie Rain gets to her feet. Lizzie Ryan goes for the pinfall, but Tatum kicks out at 2. Lizzie cinches in a waist lock, and Tatum hits a standing switch. We then get many reversals by both ladies. Lizzie Ryan cinches in a side headlock, and they crisscross each other. Tatum is super athletic, like the moves she does in there. Lizzie Ryan then blocks a hip toss, and Tatum hits a cartwheel and a drop kick. Lizzie Ryan then goes to the floor. Tatum then goes for a drop kick to the rope, but Lizzie Ryan catches her. Lizzie then hits a drop kick to the rope. Lizzie then sends Tatum back into the ring, and she returns to that double wrist lock. Lizzie then hits a snapmare, and she holds on to the wrist lock. Lizzie Ryan then hits a headbutt, and she goes for a splash, but Tatum moves out of the way. Tatum then fires back with a crossbody into the corner, followed by a slam for a count of 2. Tatum sends it in a rear neck choke, holds on to the chin lock. But Lizzie fires back, goes for a quick pinfall, but she only gets 2. Lizzie then kicks Tatum away, and she goes for a sunset flip. Tatum rolls through, and she applies a Boston Crab. Lizzie Ryan then powers out for the Boston Crab. Tatum returns right back to it. Lizzie Ryan then kicks Tatum away. Lizzie goes to the apron. Lizzie then hits her shoulder, and she goes for the O'Connor roll, but Tatum holds on to the ropes. Lizzie Ryan then hits an Irish whip, and Tatum floats over. Both women then go for a crossbody at the same time. Both women are down. Tatum then hits a forearm, and Lizzie Ryan fires back. They then go back and forth. Lizzie then hits several chops, and Tatum hits several more forearms. Both women then go for a clothesline at the same time, and both women go down. Tatum Paxton then hits a back heel kick. Lizzie Ryan hits a kick as well. Tatum then hits several kicks. Lizzie Ryan hits a jumping around kick. Lizzie Ryan then hits several clotheslines and a wrist clutch overhead suplex. Lizzie then delivers several chops and then gets Tatum up for a running Samoan drop. She gets a count of 2. Lizzie then goes for a drop kick to the rope, but Tatum hits an enziguri from the floor. Tatum then sets up for the finisher, the cemetery drop, but Lizzie blocks it. Lizzie hits a headbutt. Tatum then hits a super kick. Lizzie hits a German suplex, and Tatum misses a splash into the corner. Lizzie Ryan hits a fine headbutt to send Tatum to the floor. Lizzie Ryan then misses a kick. Tatum has a liger kick blocked. They both go for several near falls, each kicking out at 2. Tatum then gets a jackknife cover for a count of 2, but then Tatum hits the cemetery drive for the 1, 2, 3. So Tatum in a really hard fought match. Both women did phenomenal. Tatum actually retains the Women's NXT North American Championship. After the match, both women hug, but Saria comes out behind and hits both of them with she hits a F5 to Lizzie Ryan and to Tatum Paxley, and then Saria poses with the Women's NXT North American Championship. So Tatum Paxley got to deal with Saria. Saria was locked in on that title. So we then head to the back with Kendall Gray and Sinclair, talk about what just happened, what Brand just did to Kalani Jordan. Brand says tells Kendall she feels bad about what happened last week because she told her the last thing she wanted to do was be a distraction. And it ended up costing Kendall the match. Kendall then says it wasn't Rand's fault. Robert Stone then comes up and tells Rand you can't be hitting people with a crutch. Rand then says she wants a match against Kalani Jordan next week. Stallman says she can have the match if she is cleared. So will Rand Sinclair be cleared in time for a match with Kalani, which I think they announced it for next week. Rand Sinclair will go one-on-one with Kalani Jordan. Nikita Lyons or Kelly Armstrong would be great contenders for Tatum Paxley. I think they would too, but it's ultimately going to be Zarya. She attacked her after the match. I think they're going to probably do this feud all the way into the next NXT PLE. That I don't know when. I guess that'll be in June. I'm guessing. Kiana Carter makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night. He will be going one-on-one with Tate Wilder. So the match starts off with Keanu Carver sending Tate to the apron. Keanu Carver then hits Tate Wilder. Serves a headbutt. Keanu Carver hits a back body drop. Keanu then applies a sleeper hold. Tate Wilder then hits a moonsault to the outside. Now Tate Wilder got busted wide open in this match as well. Keanu Carver then pops right back up, sends Tate Wilder into the ring post. He busted Tate Wilder up really good. Keanu Carver then continued to beat down on Tate Wilder. Keanu then hits a German suplex, and Wilder has been busted wide open. Keanu Carver then sends Tate Wilder to the corner with authority and drives his shoulder into Tate Wilder's midsection. Keanu Carver then hits Wilder with a clothesline. Tate Wilder tries to fight back. Not much offense from Tate Wilder, but Keanu Carver sends him into the corner. Keanu goes for an elbow in the corner. He gets Tate Wilder fires an elbow in the corner and a boot. Tate Wilder then hits a missile drop kick. Wasn't much offense from Tate Wilder in this match. Keanu Carver then sends himself into the post. Tate Wilder then sends Keanu Carver over the top rope and to the floor. Tate Wilder then hits Keanu Carver with a DDT assisted from the steel steps. Tate Wilder then heads to the top rope and hits a splash. Keanu Carver kicked out at 2. Keanu Carver then tosses Tate Wilder across the ring. Keanu Carver then hoists Wilder up and slams him into the mat before he hits his finisher for the 1, 2, 3. Keanu Carver just decimated Tate Wilder. Keanu Carver kind of reminds me of Oba. I mean, he's not as over with the fans, but the way he presents himself in the ring. So, winner of the singles match is Keanu Carver. So we then head to the back where Jackson Drake is talking to Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor from Vanity Project about their upcoming title match tonight. Jackson Drake says they don't have to worry about Dark State tonight. Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor then complain that there are 2 others out there on the numbers game. Obviously, we have Cyrus Griffin and who else is it? What's it? Cutler James. I know Cyrus Griffin is going to be on the outside for Dark State. But then Mika Lockwood, we've seen her involved in the storyline with Vanity Project over the last couple of weeks. She shows up. She says she will handle Cutler James and Osiris Griffin. They'll have nothing to worry about. Jackson Drake is happy. So we then see Bronco Lima and Lucien Price are interrupted by Charlotte Hill getting signature for Mr. NXT. Charlotte then asks Birthright to sign the petition. Ariana Grace says, coming from Mrs. NXT, so it wasn't going to happen. So Charlotte is not pageant material. Charlie Dempsey then says he wants to hear what Charlotte has to say. Charlie then says Charlotte is embarrassing this business. He then challenges Charlotte to a match to show him what a proper wrestling is. So Charlotte Hill and Charlie Dempsey one-on-one next week. A lot of matches next week. I don't know how they're going to get them all in. They got 6 or 7 matches booked for sure. So we go to Sarah Schreiber. She is in the ring with Cam Hendricks, who, like I said, him and Mason Rock had a big win at the opening of NXT tonight. She brings up what happened in the match, and if he isn't going to be looking for it, she said Cam pinned Miles Warren. Was he going to be looking for a title match against Miles Warren for the NXT North American Championship? Cam says, who can say they beat 2 champions in his first match? Said he made history tonight. Cam says, that's why you can see why everyone calls him Showtime. Cam says he is here to be the #1 superstar and to win the big one. Obviously, he was answering Sarah Schreiber's question about which title he was going to be going after. Cam says Tony has been slacking. He is ready to take the title from him. But like I said, this guy is super over. He's only been on TV for a couple of weeks. But Mason Rook makes his way down to the ring. definitely a name to keep your eye on in the NXT champion picture over the next few months. He's super over with the fans. So Mason Rook comes out. He tells Cam he is acting like the win was all him. Mason says the people saw they're not blind, they can see with their own two eyes. People saw that he took the win away from him. He actually did. Mason says without him, he wouldn't even be out here calling his shot at a champion. Mason says he will give Cam a favor and a chance to give credit to the one that is deserved. That's Mason Rook. Camden says no one will remember you, and you were in the match. Mason obviously gets mad. Cam said it's everyone for themselves, and Mason said it sure is. Mason then clotheslines Cam and hits a backpack cannonball into the turnbuckles. Mason Rook squashed Cam Hendricks with the backpack cannonball into the turnbuckles. So, as I stated earlier, we're going to see next week Dizzy Dame one-on-one with Lola Vice for the Women's NXT Championship. Shawn Legacy faces Dorian Vandu in the first round match of the Speed Championship, Men's Speed Championship, and Ren Sinclair faces Kalani Jordan. We're also going to see OTM against Cullen. We're going to see Shiloh against Charlie Dempsey. Who else for next week? Jada Parker and Layla Diggs next week as well. William Van Du is going to go one-on-one with Shawn Legacy in the first round of the WWE Men's Speed Tournament. And Ren Sinclair is going to go one-on-one with Kalani Jordan. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you being here. All right, so we're going to go to the main event of the night. It's for the WWE NXT Tag Team Championship. It's the Vanity Project, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes against Dark State, Saquon Sugar, and Deion Lennox. Obviously, Dark State has Cutler James, Osiris Griffin, and Vanity Project is accompanied by Jackson Drake and Mika Lockwood. So the match on top of Dark State wasting no time attacking the Vanity Project. Deion Lennox and his series of right hands, Brad Baylor. Deion Lennox in a positive side headlock. Ricky Smokes and his Lennox with a spear. Brad Baylor down the ring as the legal man for the Vanity Project, and Deion Lennox slams Baylor down. Saquon Sugar then comes in. Dark State hits a double team. Saquon then hits a drop kick and hits a hip toss. Brad Baylor fires back, slams Sugar's head into the mat before tagging in Ricky Smokes. Deion Lennox and enters the match as well. When Deion Lennox gets into the match, he drops a shoulder into the midsection of Ricky Smokes. Then a positive side headlock to Saquon Sugar. Deion Lennox comes in and Dark State is in complete control. Saquon Sugar then sends Brad Baylor over the top rope and to the floor. Saquon Sugar then slides to wipe out Brad Baylor. Deion Lennox and Saquon Sugar are on the same page and then send Ricky Smokes over the top rope to the floor. Back in the ring, Brad Baylor regains control. Smokes continues to stomp Deion Lennox into the corner. Brad Baylor in a positive side headlock. Saquon Sugar then enters the match. Enters the ring and he takes the fight to Vanity Project. Saquon Sugar then hits a clothesline to Ricky Smokes. Brad Baylor then hits Saquon with the neck breaker for a count of 2. Ricky Smokes then prevents Saquon Sugar from making a tag. Brad Baylor, now the legal man. Baylor then accidentally runs into Ricky Smokes, but then the fight spills to the outside. Ricky Smokes then runs into a barricade as Saquon Sugar moves out of the way. Back in the ring, Brad Baylor hits Deion Lennox with a high knee. Saquon Sugar back in the ring goes for a backslide, but Ricky Smokes kicks out at 2. Then exchange strikes in the middle of the ring. Deion Lennox hits a powerbomb. Saquon Sugar then follows up with a flying clothesline of the Vanity Project still in this match. They're defending the titles. Deion Lennox hits a double climb. Mika Lockwood and Jackson Drake then get into an argument with Dark State out on the floor. Deion Lennox sends the spine buster to Ricky Smokes, and the match turns into utter chaos. Brad Baylor then sends Deion Lennox over the top rope and to Saquon Sugar then sends Brad Baylor to the outside. As he turns around, Ricky Smokes gets Saquon Sugar in a roll up for the 1, 2, 3. The Vanity Project, due to some serious miscommunication within Dark State, leads to the victory for the Vanity Project. Winners are still the Wwe NXT Tag Team Champions, Vanity Project, Brad Baylor, and Ricky Smokes. After the match, Dark State stand in the ring, and Osiris Cutler obviously act like they're about to attack. I thought they were looked like they were going to attack Deion Lennox. But, Dark State stand in the ring, and Osiris and Cutler attack Saquon while Deion watches. They are great. Osiris and Cutler then go over to Deion, and Deion goes between them and punches Saquon. Deion then hits some spine busters. Saquon triggers. Saquon slaps Deion, and Deion tells Osiris and Cutler to get Saquon up for the son of Cerberus bomb through the table. Deion, Osiris, and Cutler then stand tall over Saquon Sugar as the show comes to a close. So Dark State has turned on Saquon Sugars. So, like I said, a lot of action tonight. A lot of storyline progression, and it is a big show next week. We're going to get the Women's NXT Championship on the line as Paula Weiss will defend against Izzy Dane. You have Ren Sinclair going one-on-one with Kalani Jordan. Layla Diggs going one-on-one with Jada Parker. We're going to get Charlie Dempsey versus Charlotte Hill. OTM going against the Cullen next week. So the Cullen's super busy next week. So it's about seven matches they made official for next week. And then we'll probably hear from, I know that Zarya did an interview after the show went up there. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But they're definitely going to start this build for Zarya and Tatum Paxley. I think definitely leads into the June PLE for NXT. If they have one in June, I haven't looked at their calendar, but I believe they do have a PLE coming up in June. So, but this has been your NXT recap live here on the EVP show. Appreciate you guys coming in, the 146 people. Make sure you guys follow. If you guys are not following the DWE Network live on X, make sure you follow the DWE Network, and you can see everyone that is affiliated. Obviously, Talk It Up Podcast. Make sure you give them a subscription on X. You follow Miami, The Great, and Final Boss Baby. Obviously, everybody that you see from the DWE Network. Obviously, Talk Monday with the rundown with the World of Greg and Kyle and Anthony. Kyle will be joining me next Wednesday on the Clash in Italy prediction show. He'll be one part of the panel for the Clash in Italy prediction show. Also, Director Reg, After the Slam podcast, make sure you follow him on X and give him a subscription on YouTube and the Smoke Session podcast as well. And also everyone affiliated with Gimmick Table Media as well. So many people to shout out on these streams. But make sure you give, like I said, give the DW Network a follow on X. You can find out what all the content creators have going on. So it's in the bio. Shout out to Bobby again for coming in tonight. And Peter Anthony Fernandez. Shout out to the 150 people that we have watching live tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the outro, guys. This has been your NXT Recap Live, Tuesday, May 19th, 2026.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the NXT Recap Show tonight. EVP Show. Like I said, big week next week on NXT. A lot of matches. I kind of went over all the matches for next week. We're gonna get a title match, NXT Women's Championship match, several other matches that I talked about earlier on the stream. If you guys are watching live on my YouTube channel, please hit that like button. Definitely helps me out in the stream. So. And if you guys are subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and turn on the notification bell. Comment us pretty much every day, almost every day, live here for new content. So as far as where you can find me on my socials, it is scrolling across the blue and the white. It's going across the blue square on the bottom and white letters. But all my links are in my bio. Obviously, if you follow me on any of these social media platforms I'll tell you about, you can find my YouTube channel pinned at the top of my X, Twitter account, whatever you guys call it. And it's in the link to my bio for my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also on my YouTube channel as well. So, but yeah, as far as X goes, you can find me on X at EVP X. And like I said, once you follow me on the back, you can go to the very top of my page, and my YouTube channel is pinned at the top of my page. So make sure you just hit that share, or maybe retweet, whatever. Friends over to hit that subscribe button. Try to help me get to 300 subscribers before SummerSlam. So, but Instagram, you can find me EVPCJP as well. And my link is in bio on my Instagram account. TikTok, you can find me at Brady the Goat 21. That's at Brady DA Goat 21. You can find me on TikTok. Also, my YouTube link is in my bio of my TikTok page as well. Last but not least, most importantly, please hit the like and subscribe button to my YouTube channel. Like I said, if you want to look for my channel and you're new and you haven't came in, you can find it on any of those bios that I just called out to you guys on any of my social media platforms. But if you for some reason can't find it, you just go to that search bar and type in at the EVP Show. You'll see 900 plus live videos, a lot of shorts, and a couple pre-recorded. So please make sure you guys, if you are subscribed, like I said, that notification bell, and it will remind you to go live. So, once again, thank you guys for coming in to recap tonight live on May 19th, 2026. So what I have coming up next for you guys tomorrow night, got an early stream, but it's a big one. We'll have a full panel in at 7 p.m. Eastern live tomorrow night for the Saturday night's main event prediction show. So hit that notification bell, come join us in the comment, and I will post your predictions up on the screen with the rest of the panel so everybody can see the prediction for Saturday night's main event. So then Thursday night, I'm back 11:30 p.m. Eastern for the TNA recap show. Friday night is to go home SmackDown the night before Saturday night main event. You can catch me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time for the SmackDown recap show. And Saturday night, after Saturday night main event goes off the air around 10:15 or 10:30 p.m. Eastern, come join me live as I dissect all 5 matches of what happened on Saturday night's main event. Or around, I'm gonna say about 10:15, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Join me for the Saturday night's main event recap show. And then Sunday is doubleheader Sunday here even on the EVP show. Will be the last Sunday night scoop of the month of May. Obviously, we have Clash in Italy next week, so I won't be doing a Sunday scoop live here on the EVP show the last Sunday in May. So I have the Clash in Italy recap show that day and LFG. So, but come kick off doubleheader Sunday, the 5th doubleheader Sunday with me at 6 p.m. Eastern time for Sunday night scoops with the EVP episode number 22, and then come back later on that night. join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for LFG Season 3, Episode number 5. With that being said, guys, that is the schedule for the rest of the week. Big show tomorrow, big huge panel. Hit that notification bell and come join us in the comments. Put your predictions in the comments for what's going to happen what you feel is going to happen at a Saturday night main event this weekend from Fort Wayne, Indiana, live Saturday. That being said, guys, I am the EVP from the EVP Show, Golden Boy, DWE. DWE is the place to be. Hopefully, you guys have a happy Wednesday. Come in and join us. Join me whenever you get off work. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be going live right after everybody's getting off work, about 7 p.m. Eastern. Me and 9 others will be live for the Saturday night's main event prediction show. Good night, everyone. See you guys tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Saturday night main event prediction show.